Okay guys, so I'm super excited to bring this testing and review video. A little over a year ago, I did a overnight 30-degree freeze test is what I called it, of the SOL Escape Bivvy. And don't ask me why, but that video exploded. It's one of the most viewed videos if you search SOL Escape Bivvy. A little over a year has passed, and I wanted to shoot kind of an update slash alternative testing and review. In last year's video I had an orange one, and I still own the orange one, but because they're so good, they sent me this one. So this is the OD green version, and now the orange one is in the girlfriend's car, and I keep this one in my car. But I'm going to change it up a little bit. So the Escape Bivvy in general, it's identical except the color, so they didn't change anything about it. This year I'm only going to use the Thermarest Z Light. It's also OD green, or a version of green. So why am I only using this pad? Well, it's because I'm going to test out this. This is called the Sea-to-Summit Reactor Extreme. So they make a couple different versions of this. It's a sleeping bag liner, and I believe Thermalite, it's a form of insulation, and I think that's like the fabric it's made out of. This one is the red one. It's red, orange. It's kind of a weird color. It is the most expensive one, but it's the warmest one. And it's also the largest one, so far as I could tell. Okay, so this isn't going to be a review on this product, but I'm excited to test this out. I haven't used it yet. As you can tell, I'm colorblind. I don't know, a dark orange, red, I don't know. Almost like a blaze orange color. The feel of this feels like a flannel sheet, a bed sheet, but the difference is I know this is like polyester or some type of synthetic fabric, and flannel is most of the time cotton. So real quick, going over the specs of this, I want to say this weighs 12 ounces. So with the Escape Bivvy, you're talking about 1.25 pounds, around 20 ounces. It has no zippers, which to some may be a downside. It has a drawstring closure right here. You'll see a lot of this when I get into it. And it looks big, but I've gotten into this before, and it's actually quite a pain to get in. Especially if you're a little bigger. I'm about 6'2". That's important to a lot of people. They're taller. I believe this is about 84 inches long, about 7 feet long. So I'm already starting to get chilled a little bit. I'm going to set up my camp, so to speak. But real quick, okay, so I'm not outside. I am in my workshop, which is unheated. And let me pull up the weather. It says 9 p.m. 34, 10 35, 11 37, and some chances of rain. The winds are gusting east-northeast at 15 miles an hour, gusts up to 20 miles an hour, humidity 96%, dew point 33, cloud cover 100%, ceiling 1,100 feet, visibility 10. So all that's pretty irrelevant. Into Tuesday, which will be tomorrow, pretty much throughout the night you're looking at between 33 and 35 degrees. So hovering right above freezing. Why I'm using these two is, as great a product as this is, below, for most people, 40-45 degrees, this isn't comfortable. So especially for more than one night, staying in this, you won't be happy. This is low bulk. It's okay to keep compressed, unlike a sleeping bag. So say it's in a go bag or a get home bag or something like that. It's compact. It's modular. Not modular, but you can use them separately or together. So 2 people could possibly each one of these, and if you only were by yourself, you could use them both together. And I think be a lot more comfortable, but like I said, I haven't tested this. So I think this is the best it's going to get. It's not totally sealed off. Once you're in here, let's hope you don't have to get out, because I would hate having to get back in here in the middle of the night, especially if it was pretty cold out. So, for tonight, that pretty much ends the test. I'm going to turn the camera off, get 6 hours or so of sleep. In the morning, right in the morning, I'll flip the camera on and give you my impressions, if I was cold, if I was warm, how comfortable I was, stuff like that.
Okay, so this is part 2 to this test. It is Tuesday morning. Oh, last night it got down, I think the coldest it got was around 4 to 5 in the morning. I believe it got down to about 31. A little colder than they said it would. I woke up at 2 and I was pretty cold. I woke up again at about 4 and again I was pretty cold. But, I just kind of flipped over and eventually I fell back to sleep within a couple minutes. My feet are still, I wouldn't say numb, but the toes are pretty stiff. But that's a problem I always run into with sleeping bags and whatnot, just because between my torso and my leg length, you have your legs that far away from your, heart. So at least for me, it's pretty hard to keep them warm. Okay, so this liner right here, this MSR Sea-to-Summit, did not work. Now, is the product a total failure? I don't think so, because for certain aspects, such as lining, especially down sleeping bags, think about this for a second. A lot of down sleeping bags aren't that easy to wash, and when you do get them washed, you have to bring them to a dry cleaner and stuff like that, or some type of special cleaner. So by using the liner within your sleeping bag, you'll have kind of a more comfortable feel, because this feels like a bed sheet. It doesn't feel like all like nylon and stuff does, and it protects the inside of your sleeping bag from dirt and grime and whatnot. So you can just wash this, say, after every trip that you go on, and then put it back in your sleeping bag. So in that aspect, it works. I think it would work pretty well. For adding warmth, I don't think it added any warmth. It might have added a fraction of like psychological warmth, because on this bivvy, when it gets cold, there's no loft or insulation or anything, air trapping abilities. The touch of this Tyvek metallic material, it does get cold. This just adds a little kind of thermal break, so my body doesn't feel that instant cold. But for trapping heat or trapping air and whatnot, keeping you warm, to me it wasn't that efficient, which again kind of makes sense. There's not really any loft. But so it was an interesting test. It might have added a slight degree of comfort. I thought it was going to be way more effective. Again, that was the Sea-to-Summit Reactor Summit Reactor Extreme. So it's the orange or the red color. Now, I actually spun myself around at 2, and the hood right here I actually put on top of me. So while I slept, I put this like this, if you can see. What that did, this fabric's really breathable, but when I would breathe, it would kind of just, kind of hard to explain, it would kind of circulate the air and keep my face warm. Before I did that, my face was just constantly cold. And then this is normally a hood, but the SOL Escape Bivvy, I had that hood on, plus I had my beanie on, because you lose a lot of heat through your head. The clothes I was wearing, I forgot to mention yesterday. I have a lightweight, it's made by Columbia, it's a synthetic mid-weight like top. I wear these all the time. Um, and then on top of that, I just have an Under Armour loose fitting synthetic t-shirt. Again, I wear some like this all the time. Bottoms, I was wearing a pair of Mountain Hardwear um, synthetic pants. They're a very thick nylon canvas type material. One of the most durable pants I've ever found, but no long johns underneath. And then I was wearing a pair of thick Carhartt boot socks, like extremely thick. The bottom and everything, they're very thick wool. Um, the reason I didn't wear tons of like heavy like like not even winter clothing, but like base layers and insulating layers and stuff like that is because I wanted to keep this test semi real world. So in instances I'm going to be using this, I'm kind of factoring the least common denominator, so to speak. So there's a really high chance. So it's guaranteed I'm going to be wearing some type of clothes. There's a chance that I'll have my insulated vest, a jacket, snow pants, boots, hats, gloves, all that stuff in my car. Um, but that's no guarantee. So I'm factoring like the least common denominator, the least amount of clothes that I would have on. So if I had all that clothes and I was in here, I'd just be that much warmer. But I kind of wanted to test it in the most extreme circumstances. I was not warm whatsoever. This isn't an endorsement. This isn't an advertising type review. I'm not trying to help the company sell this product or whatever. And I'm not saying this product is not good. Um, but what I am saying is keep your expectations realistic. You're talking about, it's not a Mylar, but it's a synthetic material. There's no loft, as you can see. Um, there's no loft. If I was a sleeping bag manufacturer, this system together, I'd probably give a rating of 30 to 35 degrees, what I just slept in. But we all know those sleeping bag ratings. They're like, well, make sure you're wearing the proper clothing and make sure you're wearing or using this proper pad, and that's under the assumption that you're going to be in a tent and under the assumption there's no wind and on and on and on and on. So again, if I was a sleeping bag manufacturer, this system here, I would give a 30-degree sleep rating to. That means at 30 degrees you will be freaking cold, but you won't die. If I was to give this a number, which is hard for me to do because there's so many variables, there's the person's size, the person's weight, the person's height, the person's metabolism, if they're a hot sleeper or cold sleeper, male, female, how acclimated they are to colder temperatures. There's so many lists of variables, so it'd be irresponsible for me to say, yeah, this is good down to this, you know. But I'll tell you this. So I am what you call probably a really warm sleeper, as in I can use a really thin, light sleeping bag down to really close to what they rate it for. So if it's a 40-degree bag, um, I'll use it down to 35 degrees. With that being said, really warm sleeper. It got down, the coldest it got was like right around 31, 32, and then it kind of start jumping back up again. So right now it's about 35. And I was insanely cold. Um, Insanely cold. So if you're talking survival situation where you're um, limited on food, limited on water, so your metabolism is lower, and all these other factors um, that could play a part. But 35 degrees, so right around the freezing mark, I was extremely cold. I think I would be comfortable in this at about the 45 degree to maybe 40, but probably around the 42 degrees, so 10 degrees warmer than it was last night. That's as much data and that's as much recommendation as I'll give you. Like I said, I think it's irresponsible to say, yeah, pack this and go out in freezing weather. So all in all, I hope you guys will like this video. I won't lie to you, it wasn't the funnest making it, and I'm not making it just to make a YouTube video. I'm also, like I said, I test a lot of stuff, not just to make videos about it, but to better my understanding about it and, know the limits of certain gear and stuff like that. But I won't lie to you, it wasn't super fun making this video, but I think it's still important to do so. I was pretty bloody cold all night long. But if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. There's the red subscribe button right down there in the corner if you haven't already. I'll leave a comment below, and I will leave a link to my original SOL Escape Bivvy review. Until next time, we will see you on the next video.